This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Hey, guess what? Fascists hate this dish. Let's make it. Filippo Tommaso Marinetti, co-author of the Fascist Manifesto. In 1932, he argued that Italians should stop eating pasta. He gave some pseudoscientific health justification about how pasta somehow makes you, less virile. He also warned that pasta makes you skeptical. Beware of people who say that skepticism is a bad thing. But mostly, Marinetti didn't like that pasta was made of wheat, and Italy, then as now, imported most of its wheat, mostly from Canada. The fascists wanted to get Italians eating exclusively domestic food products, even if they were vastly less economically efficient. Why? Authoritarians hate trade, because when you trade with other nations, you then become answerable to other nations, and authoritarians don't want to be answerable to anyone. So, if they're not strong enough to subjugate the entire world, they settle for subjugating their whole country, and then they wall their country off so that they are answerable to no one, to evade accountability for their own actions, which are generally quite rapacious. Anyway, in response to Marinetti's anti-pasta screed, the mayor of Naples clapped back, "The angels in paradise eat nothing but vermicelli al pomodoro." Like I said, fascists hate this dish, so let's make it.
Now, pomodoro is just the Italian word for tomato, but in this context, what that means is a tomato sauce that is not heavily cooked. It's not a marinara that you simmer for hours. You can use canned or fresh tomatoes, but I'm going to blanch these fresh local heirloom guys to remove the skin. An inch of water to a boil, tomatoes in, cover to steam for a minute. You can submerge them to boil instead, but this is far more energy efficient because you're not having to heat so much water. After a minute, we can shock with cold water to stop the cooking and to make these touchable. I'd say 2 tomatoes this size per person, by the way. I think I got 1 extra. When they're cool enough to touch, you can just slide off the skin, having broken down the pectin structure just underneath the skin. I take a paring knife and go around where the stem used to be, down into the core a little bit, just because it's woody. Take it out. Are these Tennessee Cherokee purples the kind of tomatoes they would use in Naples? Well, they're the best tomatoes I can get, so in that sense, yes. I'll dump that out and refill with water for pasta, a couple of big pinches of salt to get that coming to a boil. Dice the tomatoes if you want, but I think crushing gets you a better texture, and crushing thoroughly means that you don't have to cook them as much to break them down. The goal here is to preserve that fresh flavor. I'll peel and thoroughly chop a single clove of garlic, maybe grind it down with salt so that it just disappears into the sauce. A nice wide pan so that we can evaporate off the extra water quickly, thus preserving freshness. Olive oil in, garlic in for just a few seconds. Some people do onion in pomodoro sauce, but I think that's generally not traditional, and with good reason. This sauce is about the tomatoes. In they go. You could do a little pinch of salt to start with, but there's salt in the garlic, and we're going to use salty pasta water later, so don't go crazy. Bring that sauce to a spirited simmer, maybe give it a 5-minute head start, max, but this looks like it's only going to need 15 minutes, so it's time to drop in the pasta. Yes, the mayor talked about vermicelli, and vermicelli in my world is super thin, but from what I've read, the vermicelli he was talking about was probably the thickness of spaghetti, so spaghetti in. A quarter of the package per person. Now we just cook this sauce down, stirring frequently to keep it from sticking to the bottom and burning. How do you know when it's done? When it does this. That's good, that's done. A few minutes ahead of schedule, so I'll kill the heat. Taste the spaghetti. It's not quite done, which means it's done. In it goes to finish in the sauce, and I'll just splash some of the pasta water in as I do this. I want to finish with some raw olive oil in there and then toss to coat. By raw, I mean literally not cooked. Extra virgin olive oil has a lot of these grassy floral notes that disappear as soon as you get it real hot. I'll tear in a few basil leaves and toss those in, and that is it. 5 ingredients, plus the water and the salt. If you ever have trouble getting spaghetti onto the plate, it's probably because you're not using tongs. Tongs are what do it. A few more fresh basil leaves on top just for pretty, and we eat. This sauce cooked in 20 minutes tops, and you can really tell it retains so much of that fruity taste of the garden that you get from good fresh tomatoes. American folk hero Woody Guthrie famously played a guitar that said, "This machine kills fascists." So let's say this pasta kills fascists. Not literally, of course, but spaghetti with tomato is a simple, effective, and good thing, like Squarespace. How many ingredients does it take to make a website? First ingredient, you need a dream, a story you want to start, a consulting service, a house to sell, whatever. Second, you need a vague idea of what pages you might need. Third, you need a computer that will lay out a website for you. Squarespace has one of those. Do I want this layout? Or that one? That one. Fourth, you need an aesthetic, let's say bold, and you need to choose a color scheme and a font. Fifth, you need something to say. Just type in what you want to say. And finally, the sixth ingredient is a mouse or a trackpad, because all you need to do to edit this thing is to drag and drop. Drag and drop on the mobile version too, make everything fit. And there, 6-ingredient website, all made possible by Squarespace. Start one for free right now. When it's time to make it live or to get a domain name, save 10% with my code Ragusia. Thank you, Squarespace. And thank you to the greatest generation for defeating the fascists and making the world safe for spaghetti. May we face the challenges of our own time similarly well-fueled.